Okay, the bush is never without its unexpected. The pack of 2 with 3 ears hove into view over the horizon. So we're going to stick with them and see if we go back to, we hope, a new den with the 9 pups. But yeah, let's see. Well, what an unexpected surprise for suddenly having the pack reappear with their little pups. Unfortunately, they are down to 7, so it was always going to happen when, you know, they started running again, and from the looks of it, they're not using a permanent den anymore. The denning period's over. They're just trotting off now, and I mean, it's amazing how much they've grown in the week or so since we last saw them. So they're down to 7. Sadly, I think one of the pups has quite a bad limp, and it's going to struggle to keep up with the rest of the litter. But look, I mean, there were always going to be casualties. That's the sad reality of life in the bush out here. It's a pretty harsh environment they're living in. I mean, just this afternoon there was an altercation with a hyena while we were waiting for them down the road. The adults had to chase it off. Yeah, I think that's kind of official confirmation that the denning period's over. And we're now right on the opposite side of Londolozi from where we last saw them. So we all thought they'd gone east. They've actually come west. And now they've trotted off into a rocky area where it's going to be impossible to follow them. But yeah, we always knew they'd pop up at some point. Didn't expect it to be so soon. But that's a magical end to the day.
We burn fire breaks, usually I mean a short strip of land, and it will protect our land or the bush from an oncoming fire. We have a responsibility to protect our property from fire, as well as if a fire starts on our property, it won't jump onto a neighboring property. Traditionally, we have a habitat team, and we have lots of trained guys who come with us. This year was a little bit different. Due to lockdown, we had to call on our IT lady, a couple of chefs, we had to get a couple of store managers.
Running the IT department at the lodge, I deal with a lot of Wi-Fi problems, and it's basically like putting out fires anyway.
We gave everyone a bit of training. We did a few practical experiences and we did a bit of theory, and then we had to sort of let them loose on the fire breaks. It was actually amazing. They knocked it out of the park.
Running here in camp, you're on your feet for about 15 to 16 hours a day. This was 6 hours. This is easy.
I play soccer. Playing soccer is sort of like the same thing when you fight fire. You stick in a game plan. If you don't stick on the game plan, the team will lose. Simple as that.
Normally on a fire break you would have 2 prepared areas and you would burn the strip in between them. You have a set of drippers at the front, and by drippers I mean a crew that walk with literally little paraffin drip torches, and they ignite the grass. Then behind them you'd have a tractor, usually with a large water bowser, And then strung out behind that, you would have all the beaters and the crews and the crew leaders. The two teams, they move slowly down both roads like an inchworm, where the one team is slightly ahead of the other. Jess, who heads up our staff school program, and Mark Webster, our maintenance manager, they were the fire starters, and they were both like seasoned professionals.
So I'm sure we are going to finish today.
Super communicative, well drilled, they stuck to their crews. We obviously had some rangers in the mix as well, you know, with a bit of experience. And I'm just very, very proud of the team. They did an amazing job this year.
Greg and I had been tracking a leopard all afternoon, walking up and down drainage lines until eventually the sun hit the horizon. We heard monkeys alarm calling in the distance, so we tried to get there as quickly as we could. Then we heard hyenas fighting over something. As we got in there, we found a pack of 4 wild dogs, just finishing off the remains of what looked like an nyala. Looked up in the tree, and there was a male leopard watching everything. It started getting dark. We didn't want to shine the spotlight on the wild dogs. And the leopard was now stuck in a pretty difficult situation between a clan of hyenas and a pack of wild dogs all around the base of the tree. Eventually, the dogs moved off. He was a little bit clumsy, he almost fell at one stage, but all in all, an absolutely incredible afternoon. It just shows how in the bush here it can go from being quite quiet to all action unfolding at once. Oh, listen. Leopard calling in the background. Unbelievable.
So we've got tracks of the Ntsevu pride. We haven't seen them for a couple of days. It's always welcome when you get a veritable highway of lion tracks steaming down the road. They're going that way. Let's follow, see if we can find them. There's a nice big divot where one has walked in the sand. Over there. So they've headed off that way. What we do now is we loop around to the next road along to hope to get to their tracks there. Okay, well that didn't take too long, literally about 30 seconds after putting the camera down. Came around the corner and there they were. So I can see, well, you probably won't see a thing, they're all flat out in the grass. I don't think they're going to move too far from here, but at least we know where they are so we can come back this evening. So it's fairly early in the afternoon still, still bright light, it's warm. There are signs of them getting active. And already they're 10, 12 heads up. The whole process of a pride getting moving can take a bit of time. You know, they don't just stand up and go. Well, not usually. It's usually groom, lie down a bit, groom, lie down, bathroom, groom, stretch, sleep, strut. So it's often about a 20-minute process before they're actually up and active. Okay, so our pride's strung out behind me, all walking down that way. Just listen carefully here. Might hear that rustling grass. That's them all walking past in a line. I don't want to shine on them too much at the moment because I saw a herd of kudu just up the hill. And if the lions get wind of them, they might want to go after them. I just don't want to disturb the hunt at all. Pretty magnificent having whole pride plus the males walk past. They've gone into a pretty thick spot now. We can't follow with a vehicle. We probably can, but it's hacking, crashing, not being able to see where you're going. I think our best bet is to try loop around, catch them on the other side. There's a little dry riverbed just up ahead of them. We'll try get them in there. If we don't have any luck, that's it. We'll call it an evening. So I think this is about as far as we go with them. Just bumped into them as they were crossing the riverbed. But it was just a brief over they went. We can't follow them in there. It's steep banks, so we just kind of want to mark the position for tomorrow. I think we're going to come try to track them. But yeah, just to see 20 lions moving all together and under the full moon, which is hiding somewhere back there behind the riverine trees. Oh, there's another one coming. Let's just see here. Kind of thing you picture when you picture an African safari night drive. This is it.